On August 12th at exactly 8:30 in the morning Eastern Time, the government will release an inflation report containing the first number that could begin pulling your projected 2027 Social Security raise down. The current projection is 3.8%. For the average retired worker, that could mean roughly $79 more per month. But that number is not approved, it is not guaranteed, and until now, none of the 3 months that actually determine your raise have been counted. July is the first, and there is another number hiding behind that projected increase that could quietly reduce what finally reaches your bank account. In the next few minutes, I will show you why August 12th matters, what 3.8% would mean for a $1,500, $2,000, or $2,500 check, and the Medicare estimate most people will not subtract until much later. Here is what changes on August 12th. Social Security does not choose your cost of living adjustment in a meeting. Congress does not vote on the percentage each October. The number comes from a formula tied to inflation, but not the inflation number most television reports lead with. Social Security uses the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, known as the CPI-W. The government takes the CPI-W for July, August, and September, averages those 3 months, and compares that result with the relevant third-quarter average from the previous year. For the 2027 calculation, the number to beat is 317.265, the average CPI-W from July through September of 2025. That is why July matters. The June inflation report may move forecasts. Gasoline, groceries, housing, and medical costs may shape expectations. But June never enters the final Social Security calculation. July does. When the July report arrives on August 12th, analysts will have the first real piece of the formula. If the CPI-W is weaker than expected, the projected 3.8% can begin sliding. If it is stronger, 3.8% may survive or move higher. But be careful with the headline. The first number shown on television will usually be the CPI-U, the broader Consumer Inflation Index. That is not automatically your Social Security number. The number that matters for the COLA is CPI-W, and it must be read without seasonal adjustment. That small distinction can produce a lot of bad headlines and premature promises. Now let us put the current projection into actual dollars. If your monthly benefit is $1,500, a 3.8% increase would be approximately $57 per month, or $684 over a full year. On a $2,000 benefit, it would be about $76 per month, or $912 per year. On a $2,500 benefit, it would be approximately $95 per month, or $1,140 per year. And according to Social Security's June 2026 data, the average retired worker benefit is about $2,084 per month. At 3.8%, the increase would be close to $79. That is the attractive version. Now consider what happens if the final adjustment lands at 3% instead. The $1,500 check increases by $45 instead of $57. The $2,000 check increases by $60 instead of $76. And the $2,500 check increases by $75 instead of $95. That difference may look small for 1 month. Across a year, it is approximately $144 less on the $1,500 benefit, $192 less on the $2,000 benefit, and $240 less on the $2,500 benefit. More importantly, a COLA becomes part of the benefit base used for future increases. A smaller adjustment does not hurt only once. Its effect can carry forward. A lady named Elaine, age 72, living on a Social Security benefit close to $2,100 and a small pension. She sees the projected 3.8% and begins building next year's budget around roughly $80 more per month. But Elaine is making that plan before July, August, or September has entered the official calculation. If the final COLA lands closer to 3%, her gross increase is about $63 instead. If the projected Medicare premium increase is then deducted, the improvement visible in her check could be closer to $56. Nothing was taken from an approved raise. The larger raise never became official. But from Elaine's side of the kitchen table, the result feels exactly like money that vanished from a budget she had already started trusting. That is why the word projected matters without making the story less urgent. But August 12th will not give us the final answer. It gives us July. The August CPI-W is scheduled for release on September 11th. The September number arrives on October 14th. Only then will all 3 months needed for the formula be available, so August 12th is not the finish line, it is the moment the projection stops being built entirely on months that do not count. Think of the process as 3 doors. August 12th opens the first door and tells us whether July supports the current forecast. September 11th opens the second and shows whether the trend is holding. October 14th opens the final door because the September CPI-W completes the third quarter average. One strong month can help the projection. One weak month can pressure it, but no honest estimate should pretend the answer is settled before all 3 are available. And now we need to subtract the second number. Most people on Medicare have the standard Part B premium taken directly from their Social Security payment. In 2026, that standard premium is $202.90 per month. The 2026 Medicare Trustees Report currently estimates that the standard premium could rise to $209.50 in 2027. That is an estimated increase of $6.60 per month. It is not the final premium. CMS will set the official amount later, and high-income beneficiaries, people receiving assistance, and those protected by the hold harmless rule may see different results. But the estimate matters because the headline COLA is a gross increase. It is not necessarily the increase that appears in your deposit. Take the average retired worker benefit again. A projected 3.8% COLA adds approximately $79 per month. Subtract the projected $6.60 Part B increase, and the visible gain falls to roughly $72 before any other withholding or individual adjustment. That estimate will not apply identically. Some beneficiaries pay an income-related surcharge, some receive premium assistance, and some may be protected by the hold harmless provision. Social Security's calculation and rounding rules can also change the exact deposit. The point is not that everyone loses exactly $6.60. The point is that the number announced as the COLA and the number finally added to a bank deposit are not always the same. If the COLA projection falls, the Medicare premium consumes a larger share of the raise. That is the real tension behind August 12th. It is not that one government official will decide to cut your check that morning. It is that the first month controlling the formula will finally become public, and millions of retirees will discover whether the 3.8% expectation still has support. Here are the 5 things to remember. First, 3.8% is a projection from the Senior Citizens League. Social Security has not approved it. Second, July is the first month that enters the final calculation. Third, look for CPI-W, not only the headline CPI-U figure. Fourth, August and September still matter. The important release dates after August 12th are September 11th and October 14th. And fifth, do not treat the gross COLA as your final deposit. Medicare premiums and other deductions can change what reaches your account. On August 12th, find the CPI-W figure in the BLS report and treat every revised COLA estimate as a forecast. On September 11th, check whether the second month confirms or reverses the direction. On October 14th, wait for the complete third quarter calculation and Social Security's official announcement. Then, when CMS releases the final 2027 Medicare premium and your Social Security notice becomes available, compare the gross benefit with the amount after deductions. On August 12th, we will finally have the first real number. Then the question changes from what are people predicting to is the projected 3.8% raise actually holding? And if you found this video useful, subscribe to Senior Money Guide for regular updates on Social Security, Medicare, and more that can affect your retirement.